Hi everyone, welcome to Lilybug's Library. My name's Linda, and today we're going to talk about my weekly reading. And I never know if it's actually been a week or if it's been a week and a bit, but either way. So I'm kind of on the fly today, so I've got some notes, so I'm just going to bring those up. And some of these I read, some of course I listened to, so it just depended what was going on. So one of the ones I just finished was a Harlequin inspired suspense, I think is what the line is called. And it was called Unsolved Montana Investigation. And I didn't realize it, but it was like the third in the Big Sky First Responders series. Didn't really matter. It's kind of like Cozy Mysteries. You can, kind of, for most of them, you can pop in anywhere in the series and you're fine. But this one was about Claire Barlow. So Claire had her stepmother had been killed and murdered. And she was trying to investigate to find out what exactly happened to her. So she had been trying for quite some time and then kind of let it go for a while. And then something else turned up and she started kind of redoubling her efforts. Well, she got a little too close to the truth, apparently, because all of a sudden people are shooting at her. So this deputy, I'm always bad with, yeah, sheriff's deputy, Dylan, he was assigned to the case and he really didn't want any kind of romance or anything, but he did find himself really wanting to help Claire and really wanting to keep her safe. So it's all about the two of them trying to find out what happened to Claire's stepmother and why these people are now, starting to attack Claire. So I thought it was really good. I really love that series line. It's always so, I mean, yes, they're formulaic, but they're always so full of action. And they say suspense for a reason. There's lots of suspense, some romance. It to me, it kind of throws everything in, and I really like that. So the next one I read was The Book of Beginnings, and this one I read for my book club, and it was amazing, like way better than I expected. Excuse me, but it's early and I need coffee. And so it was so good, and I really think it's going to be one of, I mean, I know it's only February, but I think it's going to be one of my favorite books of the year. So I laughingly tell people when I recommend it that it's kind of a book like Seinfeld, kind of a book about nothing, but it's not. It's just very character driven, and I just fell in love with the characters. So it's about excuse me, it's about Joe who has taken over her uncle's stationery store. Because he is currently in the hospital and it appears that he's getting Alzheimer's. So while she's running his stationery store, she starts to meet these people that come in all the time. And one is a vicar who seems to be, Joe recognizes her and she's known as the runaway vicar because she kind of disappeared. And then there's Malcolm, who's a much older man who really isn't comfortable in his own skin yet, even though he's older, and doesn't seem to have a lot of friends. And then there's a man who's kind of in a shop very close to where hers is, and she nicknames him Eric the Viking because he kind of looks like a Viking. And so it's all these characters and kind of their stories and how they interact with Joe. And then there's kind of um, they get into some interesting kind of conversations and go to places and discover things that are interesting. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to give away the whole plot, but it was just so good. And apparently this woman has Sally Page as the author, and she's got a few other books. So I have already got one ready to go on Hoopla, so I'll be listening to that soon. This one I did read, and it's just, I really like the way she writes. I really like her character development. I really found everything about them interesting. So looking forward to reading more from her. So the next one, trying to, read some romance this month, which is what I said I was going to do. So this one was the first of the Gardner girls, and it was called Mistakes Not to Make When Avoiding a Rake. So it was, it was interesting. It was, let's see, where did it take place? It took place in a village of Bedford, which is someplace in the UK. And so it's this woman Claire, that seems to be a common name to this week. So she is rather infuriating to the people that she meets, and so it's uh, Thomas and his elder brother that show up at this village. And William is the elder brother. So William is everything you'd think that a gentleman would be, whereas Thomas not so much. So, so Claire, of course, she's not really looking for a husband, but she finds herself attracted to Thomas, and he doesn't really like her in a lot of ways because she's very outspoken, and because she's not looking for a husband, she can be a bit sarcastic. And so it ends up being there's no it's a very clean book. There's no cheating, there's no cliffhangers. It has a happily ever after. So it was very good, and uh, I mean, it's not really my type of book, but I did enjoy it, so I would probably give that one 3 stars. With the other ones, Book of Beginnings, definitely 5 stars. Unsolved Montana, probably 4. And then I went kind of off the rails and read something I really don't read, which was a Western. And I don't know why I decided to do this, but I did. So this one was called The Chuckwagon Trail, and it's the first in a series. And this one was about Dewey Mackenzie. And so he is involved with this woman and is planning on asking for her hand in marriage. Sorry, my eye is driving me crazy today. Just dry eyes, and they get all weird. Anyway, so it's about Dewey, who's he's involved with this woman, and then somebody else is planning on marrying her, and has already went to the woman's father and said that he and the father got together and decided that yes, it would be a good idea for the daughter to marry this man because of the fact that it would make for um, a good sorry, I got a cat hair in my mouth. Make for a good match and would help their businesses. So Dewey, of course, is not happy about this, and so the other guy says, "Well, meet me. We'll have a duel." And this is the Wild West, right? So Dewey decides he's not much of a gunman, but he decides, okay, fine, we'll try this. So he goes there and is ready for this duel, but when he gets there, he finds the girl's father has been hung. And he, of course, ends up getting blamed for it. And that's what the other guy wanted. So he gets out of town quick and ends up being a chuck wagon cook on this cattle drive headed west. And so it's all about his adventures on this cattle drive and him trying to keep anyone from finding out he has a price on his head. And I actually really enjoyed it. The characters were interesting, especially Dewey and the man who ran the cattle drive. And so I kind of I don't know what I was expecting, but I did like it. I mean, it does have some violence and stuff in it, of course. I mean, it's there's what do you call it? Cattle rustlers and all those things. But yeah, I thought it was good. So I would probably give that one 3.5, rounded up to 4. So then the next one was called The Thornless Rose, and it was, again, the first in a series, and this was the Elizabethan time travel series. This one I really wanted to like. It was okay. It was about this woman. What was her name? Oh, hello, Dudley. Hello. Are you gonna come sit? No, not sure. You're just paused. What are you doing? Okay, yeah, you can stay there. All right. So this was about this teacher, Anne. And so she is in, I think, 1945. And she's talking to her grandmother. And she finds out, yeah, she finds out that her grandmother, before she married her grandfather, had been involved with this man and actually been engaged to him. And his name was, he was an RAF flight surgeon, and his name was Dr. Jonathan Brandon. So he disappeared. And maybe it's later than 1945. I think maybe he disappeared in 1945. But anyway, he was just disappeared, and nobody could really figure out what happened to him. And then it turned out, the more she talks to her grandmother, the more she finds out that it looks as though he disappeared into time, went back in time. What are you doing, baby? All right, sit down. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, the Anne decides that she's going to go back and look for him. I don't know why she decides this really, but she does. So, and I think, I guess she didn't really have a choice, because she starts kind of having these little episodes where she's, would you stop? You're putting your tail in the camera. She has these episodes where she is blinking in and out of the time. And so, anyway, she finds herself back there in the place where this man is, and she needs to find him because she's not prepared to be in Elizabethan England, which is where she finds herself. So, to survive that, she has to find this doctor and kind of get his protection. And weirdly, she finds him, and they end up, falling for each other, which I think is extremely weird, since he was the grandmother's long lost love, and the whole thing is just very strange. And it was very long. I did listen to it, but it took a lot of dishwashing to get through that one. It was 626 pages. So, and I didn't feel like it needed to be, you know? I feel like it could have been 300 pages and probably been a better book. So that one I would only give 2 stars to. So let's see. And then, speaking of time travel books, I listened, or no, read Gabrielle Meyer, and she is the has the Timeless series, and this is the third of those that I read. Now, I will say, out of all the ones I've read, I like this one the least. It was still fine, but it was about Grace and Hope, and their identical twin sisters. And they time cross between 1692 Salem, Massachusetts, and 1912 New York City. And with them, for whatever reason, instead of it being their 21st birthday where they have to make a decision, it's their 25th birthday. They do explain why, but I don't remember. So I didn't like the part which, sorry, Alexa. I didn't like the part in Salem, Massachusetts. It was all about the witch trials and about them being not initially accused of witchcraft, but like their friends are, and their father's horrible, and I just didn't care for it. And then in 1912, one of them is working as an investigative journalist, and the other one is one of the first female pilots in America. That timeline was a little more palatable to me, but even so, it was not my favorite, and I would give that one a 3 out of 5. And that one was 400 pages, so I should be reading these for Big Book Summer. But anyway, that's what I've been doing. And then the last one that I got through for the week was The Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown. It was his latest, and it's the latest in the Robert Langdon series. Now, this is my first Dan Brown book that I've read. I've watched all the movies, love Tom Hanks. But this is the first one I actually read. Well, now I know why. Because although it was good, it too was very long, 677 pages. And again, I won't say it could have been necessarily shorter because you know what his stories are like. They're very involved, very, I don't know, scientific. But I felt it dragged, and I felt I could have easily been happy with 400 pages. But it was fine. It was I don't know. I was hoping to like it more than I did, I guess. But it was about him traveling to Prague, and he's attending this lecture by Catherine Solomon, who's he's kind of begun a relationship with. So she's on the verge of publishing an explosive book that talks about human consciousness and the nature of consciousness and things like this. And in the middle of the trip, there's this murder that kind of throws everything into chaos, and she disappears along with the manuscript. And Robert is trying to figure out like what happened to her, what's going on, and it seems as though the murderer has sprung right from ancient mythology. So anyway, it was okay, but I would only give that one 3 out of 5. And that, I'm sure that, don't come after me in the comments on that one. I know he's very popular, and I'm sure that some people are absolutely going to love this. It was just not really my thing. As I said to Wonderful Husband, I'll wait for the movie you know, because I'm sure the movie I will enjoy a lot more. But as far as the book, I thought it was a little bit of a slog. So that's what I read this week. So a decent amount of stuff, and I think certainly having them on audio makes a difference. Some of them. I mean, some I read, some I listened to, but the ones that I listened to, it's easy when you're doing housework and things to get through them, fairly quickly. So Dudley is laying on, I don't know, maybe I can move this down a little bit. So he's laying right there and is quite happy. He's not really supposed to be on the table, but we'll put him down in a second. So that was my week. It is chilly. It is snowy. And here we go with another week. February has always felt like the longest month to me, not the shortest. So it's just a matter of kind of getting through it. And struggling a little the last couple of weeks. I've got plantar fasciitis, and for anybody that's ever had it, it makes it feel like your heel is constantly walking on Legos, which is not a fun feeling. So I've been dealing with that. But I'm hoping it starts to go away soon. Now I know you're not supposed to Dr. Google things, but I did look it up on the internet yesterday, and they said it can take up to 6 months. So that's going to be a long 6 months. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm doing the exercises and I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do. I've been wearing this crazy brace thing at night, which kind of makes your toes go like that and is supposed to help. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be. So anyway, yeah, that's my excitement. So I hope everybody has a great day and a great weekend. And I am actually sitting here in my pajamas, so I'm gonna go get dressed and just kind of chill for the day. All right. Hope everybody has a great week. Bye bye.